Oh my God. I've felt so much fury, rage, disbelief, outrage, just unbelievable, barefaced, wriggling. All we've seen is a man wriggling.
Well, I think we better just fill everybody in first.
Sorry, I just want to just say
some people was just saying over on Instagram, hi, if you've just come over Instagram, that they've missed it and what's going on.
Okay, so the Sue Gray report has landed. Boris Johnson has read it, as has everyone else. It's a redacted copy due to the police investigation. It's limited in its scope, and he was obliged to come to the House of Commons, share the contents, discuss the contents, and take questions.
And it has been electric. So have you got the list of the highlights, right?
Well, top of the list is that it says there were serious failures of leadership. If there's any confusion around what leadership means, it usually means the leader.
But she can't say the Prime Minister.
But she hasn't said the Prime Minister. She confirms that the police are investigating 12 alleged social events. She comments on 4 in the report. She says this is not the report that she intended, so she's frustrated due to the police investigation. It means she cannot even give details of the 4 parties outside of this. Gray will not divulge the information, not yet. Alcohol is too ubiquitous and used too much around number 10.
Excessive consumption of alcohol
is not
appropriate in a professional workplace at any time. Steps must be taken to ensure that every government department has a clear, robust policy in place covering the consumption of alcohol in the workplace, which is relevant that you know that because he later on when we say what he's been going on.
The number 10 garden was misused. Staff felt unable to speak up. I think is really important.
That's very important.
That's a sense of bullying and intimidation.
Corruption.
No member of staff should feel unable to report or challenge poor conduct when they witness it. She then went on to say number 10 is too large and without proper direction. Number 10 and Cabinet Office staff worked hard in lockdown, but so did lots of other people, the report went on.
No, but it's those aren't the bits. It's the bits where she says, what are those bits just then that they would say?
Well, that's the list of that's the
No, but there was
list.
particular things that one of the Labour MPs
Some gatherings represent a serious failure to observe not just the high standards expected of those working at the heart of government, but also the standards expected of the entire British population. There were failures of leadership and judgment by different parts of number 10 and Cabinet Office. Some of the events should not have been allowed to take place.
Therefore,
other events should not have been allowed to develop as they did. So some of the events should not have been allowed to take place. Dawn Claricoats, watching him laugh. So in the exchanges in Parliament, there were many. Keir Starmer, I have to say, gave a very emotional speech. And he had to give a speech that wasn't demanding a resignation quickly, because all that would do is make all the Tory backbenchers just corral around Boris. He just gave a really emotional, heartfelt description.
And I think he did it really well. Yeah. It was really well written.
Yeah, it really was. Of the sacrifices that the British population had made versus his sort of running roughshod over the rules and laughing at some of the commentary that was given to him. He
just keeps saying, this isn't what the British public want to know about. They want us to get on with the serious stuff. This is serious.
Can I just say on that point though, there's this assumption that we can't as a population deal with more than one thing. We can all talk about Ukraine, we can all talk about the cost of living, we can all talk about all that, we can all deal with that. We can also talk about the fact that he's misled Parliament. Ian Blackford, the leader of the SNP,
was
thrown out because he refused to retract the fact that Boris Johnson has misled. He has misled.
It was brilliant because the speaker was like, retract it.
Of Ian Blackford.
To Ian Blackford. You must retract it. You must say that he inadvertently led the House. And he was like,
no,
I'm not going to.
He's misled.
I'm going to give you one last chance. It was just electric, wasn't it? Yeah. And then it looked like he was going to acquiesce, and then he didn't, and he got thrown out. This was after Theresa May.
Theresa May, like you said, like sashimi.
With such dignity and said more or less, of course, I'm paraphrasing, what the rules and regulations were very clear.
Yeah.
Everybody understood them. I think the right honourable gentleman should be asking himself what exactly or why exactly he didn't understand them himself.
Yeah.
It was like,
Well, she said something
back
like,
of the net
you wrote the rules, either you forgot the rules,
Yeah.
or you broke the rules,
Yeah.
or you forgot about the rules, or
Yeah.
something along those
And
lines.
that's when Ian Blackford stood up and he said straight after her, Boris, you should, basically said, you got to listen to her. She is a dignified.
class.
She was class, basically, is what he was saying.
She held
and
the
your
office in high
disrespect
esteem.
of this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the part of it that really, really annoys me. Now, look, for
keep
anyone,
my eye in case anything
who
comes
feels
up.
this has been banging on for too long, the party thing has
No.
been banging on. This is about what sensibility he has. If you're of the opinion, which I can understand, of thinking, oh, for God's sake, we've got bigger things to deal with. We've got all the bigger things to deal with, and we've got this to deal with. I can't say that enough. But dealing with this, if you don't want to, fine. But by dealing with this, we're dealing with a guy who has lied to Parliament, has misled Parliament, and that will go to the root of so many other decisions that he makes
Exactly.
in Parliament. You
And the
can't
rest of the
ignore one.
world is watching this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to show off and say, oh, now Britain is leading the charge against Russia. Seriously? Do you think we're
It's a
so
joke.
stupid that we think Putin is even thinking about you for 1 second? You are treating us like fucking morons. You're trying to set yourself up as this Churchillian character that is going to take us to war or save us from
thinks
war or
he's
whatever
Churchill.
it is. It's absolutely, he's so insulting. It's so insulting. So if people start to go, well, that we're playing directly into his hands. This kicking the can down the road that the police have really handed him,
Oh my
this ability
God.
to do this,
Oh my
is
God.
exactly what he needs
Yes.
to get away with
Well,
it.
but can I say the most worrying aspect of this, when asked by, this isn't a party political thing either. There are many Conservatives really frustrated and worried and frightened because two of them asked the same question and he didn't answer. They both said, once the police criminal investigation is finished,
Yes.
will you publish
This
the
was
full
unbelievable.
report? He didn't answer. In fact, on one of them he said, once the criminal report has come in, once the police have finished their investigation, I will decide what's appropriate to release. So
Listen
we're
to
never
that.
going to see the full fucking report.
We're talking about Russia, China, Mexico. This doesn't happen in this country.
We're not going to see the full report.
He's going to decide what we see, and he just admitted that in a hostile house where he knows that people are going to pick him up on it. That's how cocksure of... It's like that
His
recent...
untouchability.
His untouchability.
His
I'm
exceptionalism.
just trying to find... Just 1 second.
It's just right. Listen, I'm going to read out a few comments. He can't
Something-
stay now. He's lied for the last time. Enough is enough. And as you say, I think the world is laughing at us again. Do you know that Putin... There's the suggestion that Putin's act in the Ukraine is waiting on this crisis. So to say that it's not as important as the Ukraine, when the leader of Russia, some intelligence has
having a look.
suggested, is potentially going, let's wait. Let's
See
wait
how
until we see
fucked
the
up this
outcome of
country gets.
Partygate in this country. It's just an outrage. It's just an outrage.
So, hang on.
Tamara Day, I remember how amazingly behaved all my grandparents were. They were always kind, honest, brave, level-headed, mature, hard-working. Milk Honey, did you hear him say this is the party who took us out of the EU and who is standing up to Putin? NATO is standing up to Putin, or are they standing
not
up to
him.
Putin? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, does Putin get frightened when Boris turns up in a sort of high visibility jacket? Probably will stand on top of a
Tripping
tank,
over.
tripping over. Do you remember the shot of him sort of going up the zip wire? I don't think we are spearheading anything. Yes, you're going to make a phone call. I bet Putin isn't shitting his pants about talking to Boris. I mean, it's just a joke.
Can I just read you this? Just listen to this. This was a letter from Eton to Boris's father. Boris really has adopted a disgracefully cavalier attitude to his classical studies. It's a question of priorities which most of his colleagues have no difficulty in sorting out. Boris seems affronted when criticised for what amounts to a gross failure of responsibility and surprised at the same time that he's not appointed captain of the school for next half. I think he honestly believes that it's churlish of us not to regard him as an exception. one who should be free of the network of obligation which binds everyone else. That's a letter from his headmaster. That is what we've just literally just seen there.
Yeah.
He is not what he should be free of the network of obligation which binds everyone else. He is above
He's above
everybody
exceptionalism
else.
again, exceptionalism. And also the most unbelievable aspect of this is every time a heartfelt opposing opinion, calling upon the experiences of British people was shared, so many speeches and so many, shared experiences from constituents, he sits with a smirk. He sits with a smirk and he laughs.
He has said 20 times in a row this afternoon, we have to wait for the Sue Gray report.
He won't answer about whether he was at a party in his own flat.
Erin Bullimore says she reckons Sue Gray will fight tooth and nail to get the whole thing reported.
Yeah, but it's up to the Prime Minister.
But I think she will make it clear that she wants it all reported.
But he was asked repeatedly, were you in a flat? Were you at the party in your flat? And he
What's
said...
What's the name of that MP that asked
said,
that? She was really
He said, we have to wait for the full report of the...
She said, I'm sure you're going to tell me that I've got to wait for something else. Yeah. But can you tell me whether you were in your own flat for this party that now Sue Gray has said happened in your flat? Do you need somebody else to tell you whether you were there or not? And he just went, we will have to wait and for the full report from Sue.
Rhys Roberts, I liked your point. He did go low, didn't he, with old Keir Starmer?
Yeah, it was
invoking
disgusting.
Jimmy Savile.
It was absolutely... Did you see Keir Starmer's face?
Oh.
He just looked at him like he was a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's such a circus, says Nate Waldo. And Boris is such an arse who seems to think he can get away with anything. I mean,
But there were backbenchers who were calling him out as well and saying that you've lost my support.
Well, but also everyone needs to keep asking, especially journalists, has to keep asking, will the full report be published?
Well, he has said no. He said he's going to make up his mind once he's read it. He said that.
They
That's
have
his
to
answer.
insist. They have to insist. And does Sue Gray have any strength to insist that it's...
She's employed by him.
No, but does she have any strength, as you just said?
I think she will make it public.
Does it mean anything?
No, I don't think she can insist, but I think she will make it public that she believes the full report should go out.
Oh, I see.
That's what I think.
I think she's already made that. She says in
the
report.
but I think she'll keep on saying it.
Boris should be marched into prison, Gabrielle. It's infuriating. I mean, it is infuriating. The whole thing is infuriating. At the point that Ian Blackford stood up and refused to retract the fact that Boris Johnson misled, it was like England had scored a goal.
It was like theatre. It was like Shakespeare.
It was like England had scored a goal. Number 10
Somebody
has admitted
asking
the PM had a birthday celebration inside Downing Street during the first COVID lockdown. But was he there?
We only stayed 10 minutes. Can you imagine?
This is gaslighting of a spectacular
At the height of
level.
lockdown, if we had fallen out of this house a bit pissed and there was a party on behind us and the police were out there because somebody had told them we'd had a party and we said, we were only in there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think we would have been let off?
When we had music in our garden, someone tried to suggest it's just an absolute joke.
It was just our music at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just drifting outside.
Yeah, but everyone was on, tenterhooks, weren't they? Sarah Whitfield given 300 photos apart again. But it felt like he was so hiding behind the police report that he seemed so confident.
Every
with the
chance
police
that he
report.
could, he said how brilliant the police were. And it's like, this is embarrassing. This really is like,
this is like a military
dictatorship.
Junta.
I know.
It's like a military junta's come in and said, no, you're not going to read it all.
The police are great.
Oh, the Metropolitan Police, who people are not very fond of them at the moment anyway.
Have done themselves no favour.
Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. What's that? Charlotte Roberts. It's good.
I mean, look at that. That's up on the screen. The excessive consumption of alcohol is not appropriate in a professional workplace at any time.
Yeah.
This is the Sue Gray report. Don't forget this, that around the world. Now, people that are Brexiteers and are waiting for him to go and cut the deals around the world that we desperately now need are watching this. And Sue Gray's report has basically said it's a piss house. It's a piss-up joint. Are you going to want to do business with somebody that runs a piss-up joint at work?
Helen R. Question, how long will the police report take? Helen H, Jackie Weaver for PM. Yeah, she
Right,
was good,
this is the
wasn't
really
she?
important thing to remember with the police report, right? This is a public order offence which will hold a fine. It can't go to court.
No.
So what the fuck?
It's
Why
allowing
can't
them
we
to
know
filibuster.
what's in there?
It's allowing them to-
only so that we all get tired and go, oh, are we still
Yeah,
talking
but-
about this party? Yes.
But one of the Tory
We
yeah,
must.
exactly. That's all they're doing. That's all they're
That's
doing.
all
They're
that's
playing
happening
for
here.
time. But
They're
one
just
of the
putting the wool over our eyes.
Conservative MPs actually said that Boris has the capacity to override the police investigation
This is
and
his own
publish the
party
report.
saying this.
He's playing fast and loose. He's using. Let's say for a minute that the police were just doing their job and they hadn't thought about the implications. They're like, no, we've got to absolutely do this by the letter. Da 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 da. Boris is sitting there going, "That's fantastic. This is going to delay it. People are going to lose interest." I know.
I'm gonna go off in my army kit to the Ukraine, and I'm gonna look like a twat on a thingy. What is it called? What's it called?
What are you talking about? What on earth are you talking about?
What is it leaders always pose on when they go to a war area?
Tanks.
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier.
He's going to
yeah,
stand
tanks.
on a tank looking like a prat. This is his plan. And then, rather like Margaret Thatcher did, with he's hoping, he's following Margaret Thatcher's
It's the
like,
Falklands
plan.
effect. He wants the Falklands effect.
So everyone
And
gets distracted by
listen
war.
to me now. Just like at the beginning of Omicron, they were desperate for someone to have Omicron. Do you remember? There was that strange...
to die of
yeah,
it,
there
not
was
with
that
it.
strange moment where they needed to justify things. Quietly, and this is an awful thing to suggest, I think they really want Putin to move soon. Because as soon as Putin moves in on Ukraine, everything will fade even more to the back of the news agenda. There is... Most of the advice that government receives, most of the spin that they get from spin doctors, isn't about necessarily removing stories. It's about nudging them down the news, the news list. It's about nudging them back, losing interest, losing, compulsion to go on about it. And that's what this is all about.
Gemma H, she couldn't even put up an umbrella.
Who?
Boris.
Oh, Boris. I thought she said you couldn't put up an umbrella.
Sarah Begley's just said there, can there still be a vote of no confidence? There can. If there's 54 people, if there's 50...
Well, yeah, that would trigger a leadership election, not an election. Theresa May, says Elizabeth Gordon, gave Conservative backbenchers courage to speak out against Boris.
She was amazing.
She was amazing.
Goddess. She was Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thought after everything that we'd all be absolutely desperate for Theresa May?
I loved when, his name, the SNP guy said, Ian Blackford said, you should look, that's how to behave with such a... it looks like something's kicking off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and the
He's
point...
going a bit pink now, finally.
Well, the thing is about Boris, he has rage. He has real rage. If he doesn't get his own way, or if he feels that he's actually in a corner, he gets really, really cross. And I have to say, one of the other things I really despised about it all was his jingoistic, nationalistic, kind of tub-thumping... sort of Churchillian nonsense that we're this, we're that, we've led... You know what? He hasn't led the vaccine programme.
No, you know what he did?
The NHS has led the vaccine programme.
He said sorry, his apology. First of all, he came and he went, first of all, I must apologise to the House. 2 sentences, and then what did he do? Like somebody really cleverly said on Twitter, is this an apology or party political broadcast?
Exactly.
And then he went, so the sorry was kind of a bit quiet, and then he was like, and we have brought you this, we have brought you this, we have brought you the vaccine, and it was like, oh my God, this is the worst. If I'd been married to him, and he'd come in and apologised to me like that.
That's the worst apology I've ever received.
He would have, oh my God.
What would you have done if you would have...
Mark, you know me well enough. If you'd apologise...
Do that look again. Do that, Mark.
What would if you'd apologised like that to me, what would I have done?
Okay, let's take his speech as 100% pie. His apology accounted for 2%.
Rest was a party political
Let's not forget,
broadcast.
he was there to talk about the report, and all he said to every question was, I don't want to talk about the report. I refer you to the police investigation. We've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He didn't answer the report. He didn't answer anything. He doesn't answer anything.
I don't play Sale. Is it Sale, your name?
He doesn't.
Nadji doesn't play. I do not play. If somebody is bullshitting me, I cannot bear. Mark knows this. Oh, Priti Patel's got a terrible headache.
Has she?
Yeah, she was going.
It's because she was frowning so much. Yeah, she was frowning.
Oh, she has
so
got a
much.
headache. Oh, yeah, she's pinching her brows.
Oh,
I
is she?
said to you earlier, she looks terrible.
She looked very, very angry.
I wonder if she's got bloody COVID.
Pretty Patel's face is a picture, says Janet
She's
Smith.
been like this all the way through. I think she's got a migraine.
Yeah.
I'm not bloody surprised.
Now, someone else did
It's
say.
embarrassing for her
Someone
because
else
she's
did
stuck up for
say.
him.
What would we want, though? Would we want a really efficient leader of the Tory party? Or is Boris the best thing for the Labour Party?
Because he's so terrible.
Because he keeps making cock-ups all the way. Well, there you go, guys.
Andy Burnham! Andy Burnham! Andy!
Hang on. Yeah.
I'll make
He
you
heard
pies.
I'll make you pies. Well, guys, there you go. We thought we'd just touch base with you earlier than we were going to schedule our wine o'clock. But keep your thoughts coming in. Boris's responses are formulaic. Where are you? A sociopath that doesn't speak truth. Here's the thing. I don't think he believes he's not telling the truth. I think he believes he's telling the truth.
Fantasist.
I think he's a fantasist.
He thinks it's like Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Fantasist.
Total fantasist. So
I think Prince Andrew totally believed that every woman wanted him because he was Prince Andrew.
Yeah. Janet Smith says her migraine, I presume Pretty Patel's, is called
definitely...
Boris. So I promise you...
God, look, she looks rough.
In that phone call that Boris makes to Putin in the next 24, 48 hours, he'll be like, you couldn't just go over the board and just ratchet it up a bit? Could you take some tanks through Chernobyl and get there a bit quicker?
I know, Faith, isn't that worrying that China asked Putin not to invade until after the Olympics?
Yeah. And did you hear that they had no snow? They had to import all the snow.
For China?
Yeah, because of the weather.
Well, we're hoping that snow melts quickly in Ukraine because his tanks aren't made for mud.
Guys.
It's all down to the weather. All this super high-tech equipment, but the weather could fuck the whole thing up.
Keep your comments coming in.
Keep your comments coming in. Stay focused.
Stay angry.
This is unacceptable. Our children are watching this. You know, I will never forget that little girl on Facebook. He told her, and then he told a lie, and he had to go to the naughty corner, and now he can't be Prime Minister anymore because he lied.
Yeah.
And what are they going to see? Oh, yeah, you can lie, and then you can lie again, and then you can lie again, and then you can get angry with anyone questioning, and then you can lie again, and then you can still be Prime Minister. Look at this man, he's got a shaving cut.
Where? Oh God, he has. He's got a shaving cut. If you're watching the House of Commons now,
and he's got a piece of tissue paper where he's cut himself shaving with blood on it.
Yeah.
Very unsavoury.
Very unsavoury. Guys, stay safe, and we'll see you
Stay
on
angry.
the morrow.